This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Build a house. Can I have an office?
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
There you go. Yeah, you can do things.
How do I click things?
With a click. I don't think you can click anything in this room.
I hate this.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I hate Mondays.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a
He's just gonna hide
trace
in
of
the
his
corner.
I
co-workers.
don't know what to do.
You just explore. You turned it off. It's too late. It's broken. You broke it. What's that mug say? Hit C to crouch.
How do you do that?
Just hit C. Oh, you can't crouch. Be my Valentine. You be my Valentine? Vote on me. Am I gonna smoke weed?
You've never smoked weed.
I've never smoked weed. Just keep walking through doors. This game is not boring, it's funny. You gotta get the narrator talking.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, baby!
But I want to go on the right.
You can go on the right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. Take you to it.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had
There's a
really been
spot
worth the detour
where
after
it's
all,
amazing.
just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
It's not like a search, it's just literally you hold a button and keep walking.
Yes, but eager to
Did you
get
want a
back to
game like
business,
that? By God, I
Stanley
can
took
get
the
you a
first
game.
open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not jump from the cargo. Wait, correct it. Look up again. Do not jump from the cargo. Lift while it is in motion. Will cause death.
No, I want to do it.
You want to cause death?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really. But his reason is to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do. Stanley left from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
You already killed the character.
You told me good job. You're so funny.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
That's
meeting
so
room.
crazy.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
His coworkers are gone.
Wherever could they go? All your coworkers are gone.
When Stanley came to a set of
You're
two
right
open,
again.
this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it
It worked out
perfectly
so well
well.
for us the first time.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first,
Was the
just
door
to
locked?
admire it.
No. He's right. I need to go left.
Oh, you can't go left. I guess you're going right.
Well, time to kill myself again.
Don't kill yourself.
Wow. Yes, this room.
You even
What
move
a
like I
beautiful
move in the
room.
game. You hit a corner.
What a
you just
gorgeous
jiggle
but
the mouse a
eager
little
to
bit,
get
like,
back
yeah.
to business. Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section,
Sit on
walked
that
straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
If I do it again, I'm gonna kill myself again.
Don't do it. Click the button.
Stanley was very bad at this.
Does it take you right back?
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
For those who can't see, she keeps
Oh,
holding
no.
up
No, it's to the
fingers
right,
like
my
this to
mistake.
figure out which is her left and her right.
No, no,
Oh,
no,
no.
no, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down,
What's he saying?
left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
This looks like a horror game.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish
47.
now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning.
Oh, awesome.
And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
What'd he say?
Had to start all over again.
Oh, man.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Goodness.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Here's a wall there.
I know.
When Stanley...
Oh,
Wait, what?
which
No,
left are you gonna go?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here
So
somewhere. Okay,
he's
then.
making a mess.
It's an adventure. Come,
It's an
Stanley.
adventure.
Let's find
It
the
is.
story.
You can choose any option. You even want to look in that door.
I do want to look in that door.
Did you just do a big circle? Oh God. You did.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we just...
Oh no,
Do we need to restart the
You're
game
just
again?
making directions up as
I
you
find
go.
it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Fine.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Are all your coworkers gone?
Yeah, I missed a memo.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering
This is not supposed to
wrong.
happen.
It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Coffee. Oh, it is. Oof.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it
Did you
comes.
turn in the wrong direction?
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
I hate him. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Now this...
I've actually never seen
Well,
this.
I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is
Oh
that
no,
correct?
baby.
Do you remember, Stanley?
No.
Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job.
I bet it restarts.
Oh,
I
no.
bet it restarts you.
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both
Did you
know you
frustrate
didn't
him
put in
enough
any
that you
actual
won?
work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm
Wait,
getting
now.
weirded out by whatever this place
I'm
is.
listening to him.
I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
He has to restart.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure
He
we don't
drew
get
a
lost,
line
I've
for
employed
you.
the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
No. We don't follow lines in this house. Are you frustrated
Me?
that I'm not following the directions?
No, I'm down. We're leaving it
the
up to the
narrator.
line from now on.
I think this is fucking awesome.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we
Stick to
end
this
up
line
be
pretty
our
hard.
destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the
What?
mood. the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything. Wait, what? We're back at the office?
What?
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Don't go in there. Don't go in there. Don't. Oh, no.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Ow.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay, yes, I like that direction.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything.
Hot.
What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
Bro.
Whatever it
Oh,
might
no.
be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
You can go back in your circle. Thanks.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story.
Okay.
No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Rid of the lines.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let
They
us
put lines on
ask,
the ground for
will
you.
taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all
obey the
accounts,
lines.
the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what
You
this
get the
is?
confusion
It's all
ending.
one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? Determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did
Uh-oh.
we do it? Did we break the cycle?
Did he blow up?
The, whatever it is
We
that
broke
made
the
this
cycle.
schedule? How would we even know?
You broke
Will
the
someone
cycle.
come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Bro.
Is he restarting for you?
Yeah. He was talking about how life is a journey and life is about the
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Okay, but there's
Stanley
a
decided to
destination
go to the
once you
meeting
once you
room.
go through the
Perhaps he
doors,
had
you
simply
see
missed a
the
memo.
He was talking.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his
I don't wanna.
Baby, go left. It's too late. I promise you it's worth it.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Right here, right here, right here, right here. Open that door. And just go stand inside.
Stanley stepped into the broom
Just stay
closet,
put.
but there was
Hands
nothing
off.
here, so he turned
Hands
around
up.
and got back on track. There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there
Maybe
was
it'll be
something to
long
interact
periods
with,
of silence.
he'd be justified in
Silence is
some
okay.
way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused. You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley
Has he
walked
started
past
screaming
the
at you
broom
yet?
closet, at least you would have had a
What was the last thing
reason
he
for
said?
exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
Just tell me
I never
there's
would
no-
have thought to mention it.
Stay put.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
I'm addicted to drugs and hookers.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer
Okay, that's
is
gonna be the end of
dead.
the quips.
He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove
you're
their
alive.
corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming. so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game
Is he still
is not
talking?
lost on them.
Oh, he's a rambler.
All right. When you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Can I go now?
Yeah.
That was really dumb.
Ah,
Ah, second player.
That
It's
was
good to
my
have you on
favorite thing in
board.
the game,
I
Missy.
guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I want to go downstairs so bad. Fuck it. Homeless people.
yeah.
But Stanley just
Ooh, a
couldn't do it.
car.
He considered
how
the
you park that
possibility
car
of
in
facing
there.
his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished.
You seeing and
His
hearing
boss would
things?
think he was crazy.
What do you think you heard?
And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this,
Sorry, I
he
had
began to
big
make
lobes.
other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
You
He
have no
just
feet.
hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone.
Hey, you just
He wasn't
right
going to
again.
lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
No, just weird.
Why? Oh, he got really quiet, didn't he?
Stanley began screaming. "Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I?" And everything went black.
Oh no.
Am I dead?
You
This
can
is the
never die.
story of a
The end
woman
is
named
never the end,
Mariella.
Is never the end. Is never the end.
Now I'm
the end is
Mary
the
Ann.
end.
Mariella woke up
I'm
on a day
Marianne
like
now.
any other. She
Oh.
arose, got dressed, gathered her
Marianne?
belongings, and walked to
Oh.
her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of
That's
a man
Marianne.
who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
The end
I
is
died.
never the end. Is never the end. Is never the end. Is never the end.
Tired.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh no. Are you following directions now?
Now I am, because I died.
Are you Marianne? Or are you
Yet
still
there was
sitting?
not a single
Okay.
person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I want to do it so bad.
This is your adventure.
I don't know. I just want to see what happens again.
Wow, you're in the boss's office.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Oh. It is dark. You need a light. No, you can't jump.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall,
Escape!
Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, my violent death. What? Okay.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
He said that if I go this way, I'm going to die a violent death. But
Oh.
the door's still open.
At this point, Stanley
Oh,
was
what was
making a
down here?
conscious, concerted effort to walk
Nothing.
forward
It's the escape.
and willingly confront his death.
Wow, an escape hole. You get to jump at least. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end, is never the end.
Cool.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Cool.
You escaped. No death. No, no.
Cool, now what?
Just go in the room.
I did.
Just keep walking in the room.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes
the
meaningless,
game.
making life the same.
Wow.
Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Cool. I was dead from the moment I pressed start. Button sounds.
Click the buttons.
I was reading.
Oh, so You really like 4.
Ooh, I like 5.
These are the people who made it.
Cool. Why did the narrator turn into a girl?
I don't know.
It's a girl.
I don't remember it being a girl. Maybe it was a girl the entire time.
Am I done?
Yeah. You did it.
So now what do I do? Oh, is this just like...
Yeah, this is like a credits
Oh.
building. There's nothing else to do.
Cool. Oh, that was silly.
You don't look impressed.
Yeah, because now I want to know what happens when I follow the directions.
Well, we can try. Ah. Ah.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
He said that I was in such a rush that I wouldn't listen to the narrator talk. Now he's playing me.
Oh.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Play it. I'm not a daughter anymore. I hate him.
Oh, I know.
That's what the electricity.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed
Oh, you
with
turn on
television
lights.
screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life
you're in trouble.
utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
He told me to.
Okay.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was
So
all
pretty.
he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
And then died.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new
Got
path
so
before
excited
him.
that I coughed.
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Stanley was happy.
You made Stanley happy after you made him dead a few times. It's just an endless cycle. Wow.
Wow.
Did you have fun?
I did.
It was a fun game.
I liked killing myself.